How's it going, YouTube? As you can see, we got red up in the air. Now this is going to be part 2 of QA1 shocks for the D150. Now in the last video you saw, I did the rears. This is the same day, just another video because the other one went like 10 minutes. And, well, I like to keep my videos kind of short down at about 10 minutes, so y'all don't get bored with it. But anyway, pretty truck. And pretty truck. Anyway, so we're going to be doing the front shocks and springs on red today. Now the reason I'm doing the springs is because the truck has the Dodge lean to it, which the driver's side spring seems to wear out on these trucks for whatever reason, and they start leaning to the driver's side, and it's just a function of time. I mean, they just get wore out. So I got new springs, I got new QA1 front shocks, and we'll go through this. And people have said that the knobs on the front have a hard time getting up through the bottom of the lower control arm. So I think I have a solution for that, but I'm going to have to look at it. And that solution is going to be putting the shock and spring in together and then putting it up. So I'm going to see what I can do with this. Y'all can come along. I'll actually show how I'm turning wrenches on this. But all I've done so far is pull the wheels off, put it on jack stands. Remember, jack stands. Don't work on something on a jack. Not unless it's like changing a tire. Changing a tire, that's one thing. But if you're actually doing some serious mechanical work on a vehicle, put it on jack stands. Don't be a dumbass. Put it on jack stands. Alright, so we'll be back. I'll get the camera set up and we'll start tearing the driver's side apart here. And we'll see what we can do with getting these shocks put on. Alright, we'll be back. Real quick, for those of you who don't know, all you gotta really do is take that knuckle loose, take the shock loose, and take the brake caliper off. And then you should be able to separate it here at this knuckle and drop everything down, and your spring will come out. Because it's back in there. Now, oh, I did miss one thing. You gotta take off that strut rod there. But that's just 9/16 bolts. As this pop up, everything will fall apart. So, anyway, we'll get into this. And that top shock nut can be a pain in the butt. It does have a flat spot on the top here where you can grab a hold of it and start loosening up. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Now these are just regular old stock shocks on this thing, and that's, I mean, a lot of people don't put enough emphasis on the front shock for drag racing, but it plays a big part in it. Plays a big part in weight transfer. So we'll get turned into this, and like I said, I'll have the camera set up so y'all can see what I'm doing. But basically, I'm just going to take off the brake caliper, hang it off to the side, loosen the shock, loosen this bolt and the bolts for the trailing arm there, and hit it a few times and it should come apart. So we'll get into that here in a minute. Okay, so I think I figured this out. The way we can put these QA1s on, since of course it won't fit in the lower control arm because the knobs are too big. It's kind of a pain in the butt if you're doing them. You know, the regular shocks, you can do it without pulling the spring. But with these, I don't think you can. Not without cutting the lower control arm or notching it to get the knobs in there. So I'll show you what I did. Okay, so what I did is I got it just barely in there, the shock, and I put it in with the spring, right? It's hanging down here. Now I went and got some because I didn't have any. Well, I had some, but well, you know how that goes. But I went ahead and pulled this lower bar out. So what I'm planning on doing, it's just a snap ring on there. Take the snap ring off and it slides right out of there. Well, it wasn't easy, but it slid out of there anyway. So, but what I'm going to do is, let's get down here where y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay, so you're going to put the lower ball joint back in. Get this all, I got to kind of be careful of how this is sitting in the spring. Spring's kind of funky. Alright, there we go. Spring's up in there. But I'm going to have to just slide it all together. And then as that comes out, I'm going to have to spin this around where that'll sit right. And I really wish QA1 would have put them over here. Because I got a feeling that it's going to be a real pain in the butt to adjust these once I get everything back together. Now I've already adjusted them for a firm ride. So when I get to No Name, I'm going to have to figure out how to get those readjusted for drag racing. But that's the way I did it, because that bottom hole down there, it's not big enough to get the knobs through. Knobs stick out there pretty good. So this should work. It's kind of a pain, but it should work. So we'll see, we'll get it together and then we'll come back to the video. Alright, we're back. I got both sides together now. Take a look at it. Everything fits just like it's supposed to. So we'll take a look at how everything looks now. And I did have to figure out how to adjust these, and it's like you got to reach inside the spring and just barely feel the click, and you have to know which one is which. But anyway, let's take a look at these. Okay, new springs, QA1s, and you can, let's see if we can figure out a way to where you can see those knobs down here. Those knobs are way down in there. Yep. So I can only get a finger in there to get to them. Well, we got the QA1s on the front with the new springs and everything's back together. I just got to clean up, put the tires on it, and drop it down, and then I can go for a ride. But yeah, it wasn't too bad. Let's see, I started on the front about 3 hours ago. It took me about 3 hours to get them on. So it's really not too bad. Having to hang the shock in there with a spring and then pull it down. Had to, once I got the ball joint and everything together, I had to jack it up, compress the spring, so I had enough room for the shock to come down out of it. And then I could put that bar back in there and bolt everything back together. So anyway, the only thing Red is lacking for No Name is tires. And I'm not 100% sure if I'll get them this week or next payday. But Red will be ready, no nitrous, for No Name Nationals. So I'll be just running NA, probably run a 7, 8, 9, or 690 or 7, Right in that area is what I'm figuring. Truck will run if I can get it to hook good. Because the Aspen would run 680s on the motor. And it was 3,400 pounds. I got a wasp getting ready to sting me. And this is about 3,600 pounds. So I'm figuring about 7s. Maybe a 690 on motor. So we'll just see how it goes. And hopefully I'll make another video here soon. I don't know, I'm sorry I haven't been making videos. But I've been working like every day I could possibly can to get my money right, so I can go no name. But red's almost complete, and if you watched it this far, there'll be a picture at the end. It's the new caps that'll be for no name this year. $25 for a hat. I'll have them for sale at no name. But y'all take it easy. I'm gonna clean up and get out of this heat because it's done got hot today. Later, guys.